I am here at a rock pile. It's basically the blastings of that road cut over there. You can just see it over there. I checked out that road cut before. Though interestingly, what I thought were zeolites, a lot of them I believe are calcites. But I think there might be some zeolites here too. But I found a rock in here that seems to have some calcites in there. They're all loose, but I'm gonna crack it open and see if I can expose some unexposed pockets with some nicer crystals in them. But this is kind of like just all the blasting from the actual road cut, and it kind of goes farther that way, but they dumped all the extra stuff just here. And there's just a bunch of basalt here with some of the stuff has voids in it, and the ones that have voids in it might have crystals in it. So you just crack open that basalt and see where you go with that. I've just been splitting this guy open, and actually I flipped it over and you can see on the back it's damaged, but there's a giant like cluster of calcites there. But this is one of the ones that I flipped over. You can see there's a pocket of crystals there, there's some crystals there, there's one there. So you just gotta try and bust them open, but don't bust them too much because the calcite in here is quite fragile. So you just try and take it slow. When it starts to crack, try and just pry it off, and instead of trying to use your chisel all the way, chisel and sledge all the way, because the vibrations are gonna screw with your calcite crystals. Before I try extracting these, I thought I'd show you the couple of dogtooth crystals. See in there. I just found it here and I started breaking pieces off, and you can see there's like smaller pieces with some nice clusters and stuff. Bit weathered, but those bigger ones are still nice, and I kind of actually like how they've been weathered on the outside. Gives them an interesting look. So I'm gonna try and extract a couple of the big ones. Hopefully get a couple nice examples of the big ones. I have just been slowly breaking this guy open, and finally the one I was breaking it open for came loose. Nice large dogtooth crystal with some tiny little crystals on the side. It's got this interesting white mineralization. I don't know if it's weathering or if it's a second layer of mineralization and it's like some other type of mineral, so I'll have to do some research on this site. But this is a nice little specimen. I'm quite happy with it. Came out nicely. I was a bit worried that it'd fall off. You can see where other calcites have fallen off, but this is a pretty nice calcite specimen. So probably what will happen is when I take it home, I'll trim it up a bit more, but I don't want to do any more field trimming because these calcites are a bit fragile. But there's more in here, so I'm going to try and see if I can extract the other ones in here and extract a couple other things. I found this guy. If it doesn't work out, you guys will at least see it. You can get this like starburst of minerals. I don't know if those are small dogtooth crystals or some other type of mineral. I'm going to try and extract that one as well. But I have a feeling I'm not going to do well on it, but wish me luck. Hopefully I can extract it. It turned out a lot better than I thought. Behind that puffball was another one with some calcite, so I'm going to take this guy with me. It's going to be pretty fragile, but I think I got an idea on how I'm going to ship it. Or this might just be one that I take with me in my luggage and pack in my luggage. Just pulled out this lovely little cluster of dogtooth crystals. Unfortunately, just as I broke open the pocket, it basically sheared off of the contact point, which is a shame, but it's still a lovely little specimen. Some good crystals together, so that'll come home with me for sure. And I found this guy. But this guy is pretty fragile and already started to kind of break up on me, so I don't know if I'll be able to take that one home. I'm probably just going to give this to my friend because this is a pretty awesome cluster. Just, it's not very, it's very fragile one of the points has already started to break. I can see the cleavages, so it'd be best just to leave it with somebody here instead of trying to pack it up and ship it away back home. Here we have the best finds cleaned up. Most of it's calcite, but then there's also stuff that I suspect is zeolite. Let's start off with the calcites, I guess. So this was one of the best, actually the best calcite I got from that site. Unfortunately, earlier on in the video, I showed how there were little guys sticking off. Unfortunately, one of them fell off, and you can actually see where there are still 2 of them attached. You can see the tiny little dogtooth crystals, but there were additional ones, and you can actually see the kind of the impression of the dogtooth crystal where it grew into the larger crystal. And you can see it has this very interesting weathering pattern where it's been partially weathered. I suspect it was like this, and so as water dripped down through the basalt, it came from the top, and so it weathered the top and the sides, and then this clear line is actually the bottom of the crystal, or it would have been the bottom where it was in the matrix, basically facing down, so it didn't get as weathered. Or it just might be part of the mineralization process of the calcite in this bedrock. You can actually see beside it, and I've just noticed that there's a bit of chabasite, and there's probably some thompsonite maybe in there. I had some previous pieces with like chabasite on them that seem to have tiny little thompsonite spheres. I'll try and see if I have pictures of those, and still have pictures of those specimens, and throw up a picture of that to show you what I mean. But I was quite happy with this piece. It'll be a nice piece to put in my display case. You can see there's some other calcite along there. You can see the matrix is just kind of this very vesicular basalt, like large air pockets, and it's in these large air pockets that the mineralization occurred with the zeolites and the calcite. And you can see this one actually is close to probably fracturing this specimen. I might even just stabilize it with a little glue just to make sure that it doesn't crack, because there is a crack starting to form along the back, you can see. So I might just throw in some viscous glue in there just to stabilize that crack, to make sure that it doesn't fracture accidentally when I handle it. But I am quite pleased with this specimen, and I love the shape of it. It's quite cool to see. Continuing on that line, I have another specimen. This one just popped off of the matrix. You can see where it was sitting. There's a bit of damage over here, but altogether, still a nice cluster of dogtooth crystals. Some large ones going up, and you can kind of see that they've kind of stacked on top of each other, and then you've got some smaller ones coming off the side. So a nice little thumbnail specimen. Definitely worth keeping. Now here's a bit of an interesting specimen. I found this guy. See, this is calcite. This interesting kind of lumpy green mass. I believe it's calcite that's kind of grown together, and then it's formed in this mass, and it's sitting on a bed of what I believe is chabasite, and it's just a different growth habit that I wasn't used to seeing, so I thought I'd take it back with me. Just a little guy, but interesting nonetheless, because the growth habit is different. Now for the star of the show, we've got this specimen. I believe these puffballs, these balls of acular crystals, is actually mesolite, and you can see they're formed in a pocket with calcite and some other mineralization. Don't know necessarily if that mineralization is calcite all calcite, or if there's some other stuff, like I don't know what these guys are, but this piece is chock full of calcite, plus probably some other zeolite-y stuff. Some more calcite, you can see, but the star of the show is definitely these two puffballs. Now this one is basically totally undamaged. It came out quite unscathed, which I was surprised about just because of where it was. And this one, unfortunately, you can see it's taken some damage to the top, but it's still quite interesting to look at. And I'm just quite happy with this because it's a cool little specimen to find in the wild. And actually, the way I found it, it kind of sits pretty nicely. So it'll actually sit nicely in a display case, and you can just look at the puffballs. Yeah, but I believe these are most likely the zeolite mineral mesolite. They look quite like it, and the geology makes sense. And you know, there are other zeolites around, and I'm sure where there are other zeolites can occur too. But yeah, very interesting piece. Very happy with it. The second trip was really cool. I went there with my local Kelowna contact, rockhounding friend. He's super nice guy. Helped me out a lot. A lot of my BC videos, I'll be thanking him. Actually, almost all of them. Actually, all of them, because he helped me out with all that stuff. Like, he was super nice, super welcoming and helpful, and showed me to a bunch of cool spots and shared a bunch of cool spots with me. And I just really had a blast because of it. And I want to thank him for that again. Now, I've actually done a video on this site. Well, kind of. So the first video I did, it was of the actual road cut, and the second video, this stuff is from a blastings pile, a leftover blastings pile beside the road cut, but it comes from the same road cut. So if you're interested in seeing that video, because I talk about some zeolites I found in that video, go and look in. There will be a link in the description below to check that video out, because that's a pretty cool video, in my opinion. I got some pretty cool microcrystal pictures in that video that I find quite cool. But we have gotten to the end of this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please do let me know below what your favorite specimen was that I found. I had a blast collecting these specimens and filming this video and putting it together. So if you like this kind of stuff, rockhounding and also lapidary videos, those are kind of my main things that I like to do. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please just have a good day. I will see you in the next video, folks.